Three men and a multiverse of sci-fi's finest spacecraft. But which ones can claim to be the greatest ships ever? Welcome to Space Doc Jury.
Welcome to Space Doc Jury episode 8. I'm Lee and I'm doing the Planet Express ship from Futurama.
I'm Peter and I'm doing the Heart of Gold from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I'm Andy, and since I'm not allowed to do the HMS Bounty from Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, I'm doing Spaceball 1.
Yep.
Yes.
You like gentlemen will regret this decision.
We're going to reap the whirlwind, are we?
Oh, so much.
Oh,
in fact, it's the whirlwind generated by a giant vacuum cleaner. Boom, boom.
Boom. Right. Okay. I think. Right. But before we get on to that, let's just have a little rundown of how the scores stand from last episode. And here we go. At top 10, at number 10, we have the Icarus 2 flying towards the sun at 53. Then at number 9, we have the Agamemnon Omega-class destroyer at 54. Sitting there with a big bowl is Sovereign, the Reaper, with 56 points. Then, with even louder scream of "Ah!" At number 7 is the Shadow Battle Crab. See all the terrible noises. Above the pair of them is the Normandy SR-1, also with 57 points. And then above that is the USS Defiant, with 60 points at position number 5. At number 4, Vader's big pointy ship of pointiness, the SSD Executor, is sitting there with 62 points. The Battlestar Pegasus, there since almost the beginning of the show, is sitting at number 3 with 64 points. And at number 2, the Borg Cube just looms there at 67 points. And just at the top, unmoving, is the Vengeful Spirit Gloriana class ship with 69 points.
We've got to give it to the Agamemnon. That's been there since episode 1.
Yeah, the Agamemnon's done well.
Yeah. Not bad for a bunch of blocks with a spinning section in the middle, is it?
No, it's all right. Yeah. Still a Minecraft project, but there you go.
Oh, absolutely. Seen some good Minecraft projects though.
So, this week, as you may have guessed, we're doing... Shall we
tell people what we're doing here? Because, we're still quite new. We're only episode 8. So, should we remind the viewers why they're here?
Yes.
I say viewers, listeners. Crazy people.
Yes. So for those of you who have just recently joined us, we are, of course, doing a space ship comparing sort of top trumps type thing, covering all manner of ships from movies, books, TV, film, video games, you name it. If comics, yeah, obviously.
I saw a space ship on a billboard a little while ago. I want to see if we can find a way to get that in there.
And one thing, just to remind a few people out there, the thing for admission is it must be piloted in some fashion.
Mm-hmm. It can't be unmanned.
However loosely,
but it has to nominally require someone to operate it.
It has to be able to travel interstellar, interplanetary distances.
So it can travel between Earth and Mars is fine, but if you can only go from Earth to the Moon, you don't count. Exactly.
And other than that, I think that's about it, really, isn't it?
It's the loosest possible terms. There are only two criteria to make it in.
We're a bit shaky on interdimensional time machines, but
we're avoiding those just because they will probably break the scoring system. Yeah. Although I expect I'm going to do a good enough job of that today myself.
Well, actually, I think we're all going to do that because, because this week we're doing comedy ships.
Yes.
Ships from comedy in the loosest sense of the term, and. Yes, and as we go... I was
going to say, if you think the physics in some of our ships have been shaky up until now, They ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
This is the anti-science episode.
Yeah, this is the kind of episode that will have Neil deGrasse Tyson dying and spinning in his grave like a perpetual
he's in the
motion
fetal
machine.
position, walking backwards and forwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
So as we go this week, we'll also be refreshing everyone on how our scoring kind of works roughly, for those of you who are not keeping track and or new to the cast. In which case, welcome. So as we do that, we'll let you know as we're going through. But let's get this show on the road. And so I think it's down to you, Pete, as you lost last week.
Again.
And please tell us.
It's not whether we win or lose, it's the taking part that counts.
It's how much we take the piss.
Well, how much beer you can drink.
In
which case, I'm winning.
You are always winning. Right, so go on in, sir. Give us some of the heart of gold.
Okay, don't you worry. I know this ship like the back of my hand. I promised you a Star Trek V reference, and there it is.
Oh, lovely.
Created by the genius Douglas Adams, a radio record, novel, TV series, and finally, most regrettably and forgettably, a shite movie.
Yes.
As stolen by Zaphod Beeblebrox, one-time president of the galaxy, to get to Magrathea, the legendary richest planet in the universe, the ship rescued Arthur Dent, who's the closest the series comes to a hero, and full prefect from certain death, an improbability factor of 2 to the power of 276,709 to 1 against. And at this point, I reach for my copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to give you a description. Unfortunately, if I suddenly have to break off, it's because my dearly beloved copy is falling apart. The page is falling out. But I refuse to buy a new one. It's the classic 79 paperback with the multicoloured cover. It's a thing of beauty. And it still smells of pipe smoke from back in the day when I smoked a pipe as well.
You smoked
so
pipe.
Here's Adams' description of his spaceship. A huge starship, 150 metres long. We might argue about whether that's huge or not, but IR scale, but there we go. Shaped like a sleek running shoe, perfectly white and mind-bogglingly beautiful. At the heart of it, unseen, lay a small gold box which carried within it the most brain-wrenching device ever conceived. A device which made this starship unique in the history of the galaxy. A device after which the ship had been named the Heart of Gold.
Nice.
So it's a really, really cool ship in theory. It's got this wonderful improbability drive that enables it to travel at, improbable speeds through improbable distances. And the downside is the ship has been imbued by onboard systems and robots with genuine people personalities, leading creations such as Eddie, the personality swapping onboard computer, and of course most famously Marvin, the paranoid android. So in order to rate this thing, I'm going to be going with a combination of the books and the TV series for the stats, as obviously the radio leaves pretty much everything to imagination. And the film depicted the Heart of Gold as a giant flying bollock for no good reason. So yes, we'll be pretending that didn't exist.
Nice.
But as you can already tell from the book, nice and simple, we have 150 meters long as our dimension. So it scores a mighty 1 for that.
Oh, woof.
It's 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over 100.
Just makes 2. Excellent.
There you go. Size 2. Love it.
Double what I scored last time. I'm feeling good already.
Nice.
In terms of speed, in sublight, it has a photon drive.
Right.
Which I actually Googled to find out what a photon drive was, and then got loads of equations that I didn't understand. But apparently it's theoretically capable of 80% light speed.
Well, that's not bad.
Is that a 4?
I think we said that was a 4 when we did the Eagle Transporter, which did 15% light speed, so yeah.
Jobs are good.
So that's a 4. Hold on. I'm just keeping everything up to date. Hold on, 4. There we go. Yep.
Then we've got the fast and light drive, the Heart of Gold, by which the ship gets its name, which is an instantaneous jump drive.
It is.
Score it 5.
It's our first 5.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Of course, there are mild possible side effects involved with
Yes, if you're not on the
Improbability
bridge.
jumps.
Interestingly, Douglas does state that on the bridge you're protected from the effects of the improbability drive, but elsewhere, as Ford and Arthur were, they get turned into penguins and lost random limbs and things. So it pays to stay on the bridge, basically on the ship, because otherwise all sorts of weird shit can go down. But the cabin is improbability proof. So therefore, I was going to take points off, but actually, no. Provided you're in the cabin, you're sorted. So 5!
Yay!
Now, maneuverability is a little harder to define, and I'm relying more on the TV series for this. It's not a flying brick, but it doesn't show any great signs of maneuverability. So I reckon a 2 for this.
Yeah, I'm happy with a 2.
Yeah.
2, okie dokie. 2, yeah, it's all good.
I'm going to say we're not going on a great deal of evidence for that, but it's sort of best guess, Mr. Spock job, that one.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's going well so far, and then we hit firepower, nothing.
Yeah, big fat zilch.
No mention of any weapons whatsoever.
No, pretty useless on that front.
Yep, but then it wasn't built for that, so that's fine. Likewise, I wasn't aware of any active defense.
No.
Nope. In terms of passive defense, interestingly, at the Restaurant of the End of the Universe, the second book, when they're under attack by the Vogons at the beginning of the book, the Heart of Gold is revealed to have shields, which enabled it to withstand 4 minutes of pounding, whilst the computer finally made a decent cup of tea for Arthur and enabled the rest of the ship's systems then to work.
That sounds at least as good as the Enterprise D shields.
Yeah, that's
Yes, we're definitely looking at least shit shields, aren't we, for that? If not better, I don't know.
I think, well, it's taking a pounding. Yeah, that's got to be...
Well, let's face it, the Vogons are able to destroy a planet.
Yeah.
If you could withstand it for 4 minutes, that's a 5, I think.
Oh, that is true.
hell.
That is true. Perfect shields.
Splendid. And then with special, of course, we do get the added ability of turning incoming missiles into bowls of petunias and floating sperm whales.
Oh, I think that's at least worth a point.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty nifty defense.
Yeah,
It is.
it's pretty good. But here we go. Crew?
Not so good. The flight crew consists of 1 or maybe 2 at most, with Zaphod and Trillian flying her to begin with, so that's a 1.
What about Marvin?
I don't know why he was actually flying it. He just seemed to be lurching around the
He
ship.
does seem to be part of the crew, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think he's actually used and actually flying the bugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides from flying, he might be an engineering component or something.
Even so, even if you included him and Eddie, you're still
He's still
only
getting
on
1, yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
We're arguing about something which makes no difference to the score. Right?
It might do for the competence bit.
Yes.
Yeah, competence. We're somewhere between 0 and 1 for this, aren't we? Because none of them have much of a clue.
Though in fairness, Trillian does actually know what's going on. So
Trillian's pretty good. And again, Marvin, he's depressed, but he does have a brain the size of a planet.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's worthy of a 2.
Yes.
Ooh, wow.
I'd say it too. But based solely on Trillian and Marvin.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
If it was down to
Definitely.
Zaphod on his own, he'd be down to 0.
Well, probably been to negative numbers, let's face it, but there we go. Excellent. Thank you. Realization. Okay, this is where I come slightly unstuck for not going with the film, because of course that was a CG model, which was all very groovy in that, but it looked like a bollock, and then I'd be taking points off for the coolness. So let's stick with the TV series. I mean, the book doesn't really describe that. Literally, the small paragraph I read is it. So I don't get much more than that. As when it comes to the TV series,
It looks like a dildo.
Yeah, well, not only that, but they're on a BBC budget using the effects of the time.
I don't think you'd be any worse off going for the film version at this point, mate.
No.
It's a model that is lacking detail beyond a few shiny windows.
It does look like a spork.
I'd be willing to give you 3 based off of its appearance in the TV series, the film, and in the book, and like an amalgam of all of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I'm happy with that.
I think
3
it's
was the
fair.
best I was hoping for. So
Yeah. Well, there you go.
excellent.
Cool. What about the interior?
The interior isn't great either. It's slightly better than a Doctor Who budget, but not by much. And they spent hundreds on Zaphod's extra animatronic head that was just a throwaway line in the radio play. Whoops. I like the rotating control deck on the bridge. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a bar area. that Zaphod's sitting in, although it's really just a piece of AstroTurf and a deck chair he's sat in.
And those lovely cheery doors.
Oh, yes.
Please
The
enjoy
sign
your
doors, those
stay on
people
this
personalities.
planet.
Not a good plan. It all looks shiny and new, which it's supposed to because, well, it's new. But there is a massive lack of detail, basically. Everybody's sitting on obvious office furniture, something you get in Who an awful lot, Blake 7 as well.
Yep.
And the control panels are cheapy, blinky lights. But again, the best I could hope for here is a 3.
I think a 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's no understanding of where any of that stuff is in relation to the actual ship
No, not
outside.
really. It's all very vague, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 2. I will live with a 2.
Yep. Science.
I mean, Adams knows his science. He just chooses to mock it.
I will
rather
give
than
you a
use
1
it.
based solely on the explanation of the infinite improbability drive.
The infinite improbability drive is a wonderful new method of crossing interstellar distances in a few seconds without all that tedious mucking about in hyperspace. The principle of generating small amounts of finite improbability by simply hooking the logic circuits of a Bambleweenie 57 submeson brain to an atomic vector plotter suspended in a strong Brownian motion producer, say a nice hot cup of tea, had long been understood. And such generators were often used to break the ice at parties by making all the molecules in the hostess's undergarments simultaneously leap 1 foot to the left, in accordance with the theory of indeterminacy. Many respectable physicists said that they weren't going to stand for that sort of thing, partly because it was a debasement of science, but mostly because they didn't get invited to those sort of parties. Another thing they couldn't stand was the perpetual failure they encountered in trying to construct a machine which could generate the infinite improbability field needed to flip a spaceship between the furthest stars. And in the end, they grumpily announced that such a machine was virtually impossible. And then, one evening, a student who had been left to sweep up the lab after a particularly unsuccessful party found himself reasoning this way. If such a machine is a virtual impossibility, then it must logically be a finite improbability. So all I have to do in order to make one is to work out exactly how improbable it is, feed that figure into the finite improbability generator, give it a fresh cup of really hot tea, and turn it on. The moment he did this, he was rather startled to discover that he had managed to create the long sought-after infinite improbability generator out of thin air. It startled him even more when just after he was awarded the Galactic Institute's prize for extreme cleverness, he got lynched by a rampaging mob of respectable physicists who had finally realized that the one thing they really couldn't stand was a smartass.
So 1 for the science.
1 for the science.
A very
most
generous 1 for the science.
Well,
Yes.
At least it has decent maths. Decent maths in its explanation. I'll give it that.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
And cool means we're on to coolness. And I'm going to give it a 4, as much for the cool concept of the drive system as anything. When I try to remember, I think it probably was the TV series I first came across Hitchhikers with, and then very quickly picked up the books, and then later on came to the radio play. But I loved the design of the spaceship. Yes, it does look cheap now, but at the time it didn't look quite so bad. Our standards were a bit lower, I guess. So I'm going to give it my full 4 for coolness.
Okay. Andy?
I love the concept of the ship, and I love the books. I absolutely adore the books and the radio play. But yeah, its realization in both the film and the TV do let it down a little bit. So I'm probably going to give it a 2 on the strength of that.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3, and the reason I'm going to give it a 3 is because it's a unique spaceship. It's certainly there's I mean, look at everything we've looked at so far, and they're all based around effectively the same thing: a bunch of engines, a big old long spaceship, chundering along. This thing just breaks the laws of physics and fucks about with everything, and I just love it for just its complete anarchy. So I'm going to give it my 3, which gives that a cool score of 9.
Yeah.
So,
And ironically, gives me exactly the same score as I got for the Blitzspear by the looks of it. 37.
Wow.
yes,
How improbable.
37. What was the probability of that? Okay. Well, there you go. 37 points for the Heart of Gold. It was let down by its weapons, really, out of all things. Well, there you go. But,
Let's face it, it's probably a good thing it didn't have any weapons, because who knows what kind of mischief Zaphod would have gotten up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so it's down to me then to do my ship next. And my ship is the Planet Express ship.
Ah, old Betsy.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to pull from about 5 different sources here to try and get all the information. So you'll have to forgive me if I pause every now and again. The Planet Express ship was a fictional spaceship in the series Futurama, which bears the official designation of the USS Planet Express ship, designed by Professor Hubert Farnsworth. Good news, everybody! And it's the sole delivery ship of the Planet Express delivery company. The ship is typically treated as an inanimate object, although Bender has referred to the ship's autopilot as him and laments being defeated by in a martini drinking contest by the same ship. In later episode, Love and Rockets, the ship was also shown to have an artificial intelligence, originally voiced by Maurice LaMarche, and after being improved, voiced by Sigourney Weaver, which should definitely get it some points.
Yes, because nothing at all went wrong with that AI, did it?
No. Well, let's be honest. We didn't count the problems with the AI with the Discovery 1.
Oh, we
did kind of.
We acknowledged it was a very competent AI. Killed at least
for a bit.
Most of the crew.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, a little bit about the production. The Planet Express ship is actually cel-shaded CGI, made to look like the 2D artwork. Using Toon Shader in Maya, of all things. And it was originally designed by consulting with Sid Mead, futurist for Blade Runner, by Matt Groening himself. And like many of the designs of Matt Groening's, it actually still has an overbite, like most of the characters. It also is based loosely around Thunderbird 2, which makes it lovely as far as the shape is concerned. What? No, come on. You look at Thunderbird 2 and then you look at the way that little nose overhangs.
So vaguely, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Anyway.
It doesn't have a big pod in the middle that drops, though. So that's kind of, for me, when I think of Thunderbird 2, that's what I think of.
But it does. It has a massive cargo bay at the bottom that opens up. Aha! Anyway. Yes. The as the Professor Farnsworth prefers to send crews on dangerous missions in favour of higher profit margins, the ship is well armed and quite fast. The ship is capable of travelling faster than the quote current speed of light, which was and now I have to go on to my other thing. It can reach the speed of light, but the speed of light was actually increased in 2208. I'm
going to love what you're going to try and claim for the science score.
Well, you're going to love it. We got to wait for this. So it can actually now reach 97% of the new speed of light. The interesting thing here is it also uses dark matter to fire its engines, but dark matter started to get rare, so it actually uses whale oil to power its engines.
I seem to recall it was Monville 1.
Yes, exactly.
And wasn't dark matter Nibbler's poo?
Yes, Nibbler's
So it's
poo.
powered by shit.
Yes.
You've chosen a shit-powered ship.
Yes.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, well, the other thing interesting about its engines is its engines are so powerful that it doesn't actually move. What the ship actually does is move the universe around it.
Yes, I seem to recall that they offer 200% fuel efficiency, violating the law of conservation of mass.
Indeed, it moves the entire universe around the ship rather than moving the ship itself. which is a parody of warp drive technology. And the ship's green colour is specified as electric mucus.
Lovely.
The ship itself, the scale is, as typically with something drawn like this, is typically vague, but it's generally settled at around 100 feet in length, and 50 feet in height. No, of course, it's all a bit up in the air because it's an animated series by a man who barely keeps the proportions of the characters he draws. So it's crewed by Captain Leela, and who's got a bit of a problem because she has only one eye and no depth perception.
It goes downhill from there.
Yeah. She's the most competent of them.
Exactly. And also co-piloted by Bender, and Fry also acts as a crew member, even though God knows what he does. He's
a pizza delivery man.
Yeah.
Well, Fry's the delivery boy, and Bender is the chef.
Yeah, he also, but then Fry also operates the ship's laser cannon in combat. Bender was originally the ship's cook, despite the lethality of his dishes. Occasionally seen performing odd jobs around the ship. Yes, he later becomes the co-pilot, and also the ship's medic is Dr. Zoidberg.
Dr. John.
Yeah, Dr. John A. Zoidberg. Exactly. Who is also a relative of that well-known comedian Harold Zoid. Anyway.
The famous actor, why not?
Yeah. So, yes, basically it's got laser cannons and torpedoes, dark matter engines, which also run off of whale oil, and after that, it all gets a bit strange. So,
after that, it gets strange.
Yeah. So, it's had some modifications done to it, to say the least. And oh god, I don't even know where to begin with this. It's got magnets on the end of its wings, on a winch. It's got laser turrets. It's got 2 torpedo tubes, fore and aft. 4 torpedo tubes in total. It has a giraffe net. It's also converted for submersible things. It has an unbreakable diamond tethering rope, an elephant locator, which can be set to large or woolly. and that's about the size of it. That's about as far as I'm going to go with it, I think. So should we get on with rating this?
Oh goody!
This is going to be strange. So
hey, hell! If bloody Mr. Spoon's button moonship didn't break this system,
well, I'm going to be interested to see how we do with Sublight and FTL, since they're both the same thing at this point. So anyway, let's start with the easy one. Size 100 feet, which is about 33 meters. Does that rate it as a 0 or a 1?
Then, isn't it?
That's a 1, yes. So that's our good bit. I'll do manoeuvrability because I think that's kind of an easy one too, as it's fairly manoeuvrable, but not super manoeuvrable. So I was going to ask for a 3 on that one.
Fair dues, yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, cool. Now, Sublight and FTL. Now these are both one in the same as far as Futurama is concerned, and there's a very long discussion on Reddit, on a subreddit called Ask Science About Fiction.
Abandon hope.
Yeah, exactly. And they basically work out. Now here we go. Right, please bear with me.
Oh dear.
But the ship can reach, 98% the speed of light. The speed of light was changed and increased in 2208, and it has, it basically can travel to the observable distance of the edge of the universe, which is 45 billion light years, and it's assuming that it takes an hour trip each way, which means that it can do 400 trillion times the speed of light.
Yeah,
so the question is, sublight and light speed are one in the same. So, I mean, I think for the point of our scoring, for sublight we have 1 to 5, and 5 is light speed. Now, light speed by our measure.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be able to do that. So that's a 5.
That's no problem. Yeah.
Whereas
we do have problems.
Yeah. Now we do have problems.
So many problems.
Well, the thing is, you see,
it's not instantaneous because they do actually. I mean, I've seen enough Futurama to know they travel. There is time taken to get to places.
No. It clearly states it does 99% light speed.
Yeah, but the speed of light is different. It's actually
regardless.
And it's
we don't state what the light speed is on our scoring mechanism, do we?
No, don't.
The bottom line is to get a 5. You need to press go and be there straight away. They never do that on Futurama, do they?
No, but
it can't be that.
But it can travel the entire universe in an hour. That's
that
is clearly
alter the table slightly.
Yeah,
I think
that is clearly faster than the Jumpgate B5 FTL, without a doubt.
Yeah,
there is no two ways about it. So it's higher than a 3, for sure.
I think we're talking 4 here, aren't we? So we've got to make 4 limited instantaneous jump or bloody fast but not instantaneous.
Yeah, sort of so fast it sucks the paint off your house from a different planet. I mean,
I think you should get a 4 just because it's pure shut up. That's why, Ian.
Yeah,
like you said, it can travel to the edge of the universe because the plot said it could travel to the edge of the universe.
Yeah, but the point
in other instances, they have to spend a lot of time getting to somewhere because it's a MacGuffin ship.
Well, the funniest thing is that Hubert Farnsworth drove it once and drove it at 30 miles an hour.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what as well, why 4 is okay. At one point, Farnsworth also installed a dimensional drift.
Yes, that's very true. But that was a one-off, so I wasn't really thinking about that. But yes, so I think 4 is kind of where I'm aiming for.
Yeah. See, yet again, you've broken my table. It doesn't all fit in the box. You git.
Now,
I can hear that eyebrow twitching.
Yeah, I'm going to make the font smaller. That might make it work. Hang on.
Please.
How small does it need to be? Oh my god!
Just put Planet Express. See Planet Express.
Yeah, put little asterisks next to it, and then at the bottom, right? Planet Express ship.
Yeah, just put Planet Express ship. We all know. We all know this is just ludicrous speed.
No, that's coming later.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be funny as well. So we're on to firepower now. Now this is fairly straightforward. There's 2 torpedoes at the front, 2 at the back, and a cannon on the top. They're not particularly powerful. We see it fight things like the Hermes and other ships.
It took many shots to destroy the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yes, exactly. It's pretty pathetic as far as weapons are concerned, but it's
got to be pretty pathetic. They trust Fry with it.
Yeah, I mean. And on the firepower, obviously, up in 15, we have destroying stars and solar systems. And
we're not up there, are we?
No. But
try the other end.
Yeah, I was going to say, at 1, we have armoured support craft, and at 3, we have Y-wing bombers. I think it's got to be a 2.
Yeah, that's insane to me. Yeah.
Right, cool. Now, defence. Active and passive. I guess you could count the turret as an active defence for shooting things down, because it's never usually used in anger and attack.
It's used more in attack because whenever it's been drafted into the DOOP, the Democratic Order of Planets, that's when that's been employed in that. And I think you're right. It is a defensive turret, but not a point defense. So I think it gets a point, but it's more to protect the ship.
Yeah, and it also has maneuverability, so that's 2 points. Yep. So 2 points for active. Nice. Going well so far. Passive defense. It has been hit, shot down, shot through, broken, smashed, busted up, and at one point utterly replaced.
Well, at one point, a stone cannonball fired by a wooden catapult collapsed one of its legs.
Yes. I think I'm going to go for low armor here. Just because.
But I tell you what, there's a beautiful line in that one when they go into the water, and Leela goes, "How deep could this go?" And Farnsworth goes, Well, since it's a spaceship designed to operate in atmospheres of 1 or lower, I'd say none.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask for 1 because it's got low armor, because it does survive a couple of impacts, but it's not heavy armor or anything. So
Yeah, you can have a 1.
yeah. Oh, I think this is going better than I ever expected. Special. Very.
Very
it
special.
is. Yeah.
I don't think
You don't get any points for the overbite, I'm afraid.
No. But a giraffe net, an unbreakable diamond tether, and an elephant sensor.
I think we're talking
Surely.
about special things that are actually worth having.
What, you saying you don't want a giraffe net on your spaceship, Hugh?
Who doesn't
Not
want
much,
a giraffe
no.
net? No?
Excuse me, your favourite spaceship has a fucking cetacean pool.
Yeah, that's true. So what about, nothing for the woolly mammoth sensor?
No.
Large
I'm
or
willing
woolly?
to give you 1 for Bender B. Bending Rodriguez, and who's going to go over and steal everything out of the other guy's ship.
That should come under crew.
Well, yeah, but it also is it's like the Space Marines, isn't it? So, we send them over.
I'll give you 1 for that.
I'll take that one because I didn't even think I'd get that, to be honest. Size of the crew. Well, we've got minimum crew is 3, but obviously with Farnsworth and Hermes.
Whenever they're on it, they're passengers. They're not crew.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. And Zoidberg is the ship's
He's
medic, but
Planet
still
Express's surgeon. He's not the ship's surgeon, is he?
He's a hanger-on, let's face it.
either.
Very definition.
And I bear in mind, Lee,
Yeah.
for everyone you add to the crew, they will come under competence. So do you really want Zoidberg counted in?
No, not really. And especially
Zoidberg wins.
Yeah. Especially considering it doesn't matter because our scoring of crew basically starts at 1 for 1 to 5. So I'm not going over 5 even if I included everyone. So it's a 1. Right, now competence. I'm asking for a 0.
Really?
I don't think any of them are particularly competent.
Leela's okay, surely. I mean, all right, she's got no depth perception.
Yeah, which is kind of useful for flying in a 3-dimensional volume, isn't it?
In many ways, the fact that she is still working for Planet Express while appearing to be competent does speak volumes about her actual competence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at best, I can ask for 1.
Also, while we're at it, what's her qualification? Because prior to this, she worked at the office installing the career chips.
That's right.
I mean, it's not like she was a pilot, and it's just like...
No. Yeah, and just for those keeping track, our skill level goes at 1 or 0, which is Red Dwarf crew, all the way up to 5, which is Legendary Starfleet crew.
Which I still think we need to change the name.
Yeah. And at 3, I think is kind of like just your average spaceship crew. And 1, I think we put as an Eagle transporter pilot because those things never took off.
Take off.
They never took. They literally exploded on the landing pad. So I think 1 is a push, but I'll take it if you're willing to give it.
I'm happy with a 1 just on the basis of Leela.
Okay. I'll take that. I'm not even waiting for Andy to argue that.
I'll give you... I'm not going to dissent for 1. I would just say whatever you give for Leela, the combination of Bender and Fry, take it away.
And Zoidberg.
And Zoidberg and Farnsworth. And you have the 1 just because I'm not going to argue. But
Fair enough. Okay, so exterior realization. So this
so
is...
So for people at home, if it's like top of the line ILM model, we get 5 for realization. And if it's at 1, you can see the strings and it's a bit wonky and shonky.
Now, for this, it is animated, obviously. It is also a CG model. And so I think that kind of counts for it, that it actually looks like it's a cartoon, but it is actually a CG model. I'm not going to ask for a 5 because that's just stupid. But I will, looking at other animated ships on our list so far, I will ask for a 4. Because I think out of all the animated ships we've done so far, that is by far the most competently done and well realised.
It's competently done, but it is by its design a very simple ship. It's very...
It lacks Depth, let's face it.
I was going to say detail.
It's a 3D model.
It's a very simple ship, a simple design, and I know that's a design choice. But I think 3 is probably where I'd be happier.
I think that's where I'd be sitting as well.
Sons of a bitches. 3 it is then. Hope you're happy with yourself. You're making it grow.
You've done remarkably well so far, Mr. Metcalf.
I know, but I'm never happy.
You're not.
The interior. Well, it's a bunch of sets that are used again and again and again. So it's not quite Nemesis the Warlock will just ambiguously draw a box in the background and hope it looks like a screen.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's blueprints and everything throughout the internet, and there's a couple of design documents which show how big things are, which is the only way I've been able to do any of this stuff. So I think for the interior, I think we're on the same sort of scale. I think it's a 3.
I think it's fair enough. Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah, 3
because
is fair enough. I will point out in the episode when they swap out the AI for Leela, it suddenly seems to grow about to the size of a Nostromo for some reason.
No,
complete with air ducts and everything.
No, but that's because that's when they go into the interior of the ship. We only ever normally see the front of the ship, main cockpit. So really, it's all a bit up in the air at that point. But so that's why I'm not going for bigger than 3.
3, I'm happy with that.
You can see where the bridge is.
Very much so. Okay, science. I mean,
I'll say again, it's powered by poo.
It's powered by poo. It moves the entire universe around itself. I mean, that's all you got to say, really. If that's
it's true. I do want to acknowledge, though, that it is probably the only ship that we've done so far which acknowledges that you can't exceed the speed of light. So it just arbitrarily moved the speed of light. Yeah. I mean, it's up there with the Heart of Gold in that respect.
Yeah.
But we on Earth have to obey the laws of physics as they exist. So, you can have your 1.
Yeah. Well, you'd be saying that, and then obviously I'll be doing a Farnsworth and go, Bisha!
I'll be in the angry dome.
Oh, I'll be in the angry dome. Right, okay. Coolness. Now, I think this is hilariously cool. And it's not cool in a sort of, I really want to fly that ship. It's cool in, that's got a real proper retro vibe to it. And it just looks silly, but I love it. I love how it looks. I love how even though it is simple, it's actually not quite as simple as in 3D because of the fact that they had to make it look 2D. So there's only certain angles you can get it to work on, and still keep those nice clean silhouettes and lines. I think it's a really cool design, and the fact that Sid Mead's involved as well just adds a little ping to it. So I'm giving it the 4.
Okay,
Pete.
Yeah, it's a silly cartoon ship, but it's a really well done silly cartoon ship.
If it'll help here, Pete, you've got to remember in one episode it was fitted with nacelles.
Oh yeah, it did get
3.
There you go. I'll take it. He said it. Everyone heard him. Okay, so that's 7. Andy.
Oh, you can have 3, mate. I love this ship. It brings a smile to your face every time you see it.
Lovely.
Old Bessie.
Ah, lovely. Old Bessie. Well, there you go. So that's the Planet Express ship, and it sits there with a total of 38, which puts it actually 1 point above the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Hey.
1 below the Red Dwarf.
And 1 below the Red Dwarf, which is kind of about right, I think. I think
another comedy ship.
It's got the same sort of quality of crew as the Red Dwarf,
Yes.
and it's got better animation and style than the Phoenix. So there you go. That actually works.
Our system works. Who'd have thunk it?
Hey, it works.
Yay, science.
Exactly. Okay, so yes, that's that one. Now, Mr. Pelastides, I guess it's over to you.
Now we all unfortunately have to reap what was sown last week.
Yes. Oh dear.
Yes, I have to bring Spaceball 1 from Spaceballs. Settle in, people. The Spaceball's weapon of conquest, Spaceball 1 is a powerful spaceship and the equivalent of the Death Star in the movie, although in appearance it more closely resembles an Imperial Star Destroyer. The opening scene with a ridiculously long, wide-angle, continuous shot of Spaceball 1 is a homage to the opening shot of Star Wars. Spaceball's attitude towards others is expressed in the large bumper sticker, "We break for nobody." Pete, your mute's not working.
Oh, well.
Hoggy lumps.
Yeah.
How much for hoggy lumps? Anyway, carry on.
Okay. In the DVD commentary, Mel Brooks mentions that he wanted the introductory spaceship and the scene to be much longer, but changed his mind when it was pointed out that the length he wanted, that one scene would become the entire movie. And I think we'd all agree would be a much better movie.
Yeah.
The ship's absurd size is a frequent point of reference. The ship is so large that it contains a shopping mall, a zoo, a free-ring circus complete with freak show for the numerous crew members aboard. When shown on the radar, it takes up the entire screen, while other spaceships appear only as dots. It takes almost 2 minutes to cross the scene in the opening shot. This is emphasised by the fact that the theme music is based on the theme from Jaws, which has to stop and resume several times because it just keeps too long. And President Scrooge once remarks that he has to run because if he walks, the ship is too big, the movie will be over. Spaceball 1 is capable of travelling at 4 different speeds. When a situation requires, it travels faster than its normal sublight speed. It can accelerate to light speed, ridiculous speed, and ludicrous speed. When going at ludicrous speed, the crew members must all use a seatbelt for their own safety, the only exception being Dark Helmet, who ignores Colonel Sanders' warning to buckle up and pays the price for it when the emergency brake is pulled. Ludicrous speed results in the ship leaving a trail of plaid, parodying the warp trail seen in the first few Star Trek films and 2001. Spaceball 1's secret weapon is its ability to transform, in a parody of various transforming robot toys, into Mega Maid. Which turns into a colossal giant maid with a vacuum cleaner used to extract all of the breathable air from planet Druidia to take it back to planet Spaceball. A little bit of behind the scenes, the model was made by ex-ILM staff at Apogee Effects, and ILM also provided additional effects for the film, the first time the two studios had worked together since Empire Strikes Back. And George Lucas loved the film and explicitly gave his permission for almost any aspects of Star Wars to be parodied.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
This was still okay, Lucas. This was pre-prequels.
He was already into the special editions though at that point.
No.
He'd made Caravan of Courage and all that.
Yeah, he did have. I was going to say it's pre-Last Crusade.
Still post Willow.
Well, I don't really have a leg to stand on there, but yeah, shall we get on to the scoring?
I'm terrified, but yes, let's do this.
So, size. Now, I believe last week we were talking in the last mini-sode, we mentioned Vija, and Lee mentioned how you have a shorthand for when something is redonkulously big.
Bow.
What was it, Lee?
Bow.
Yes, it's that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's at one point, once it has become Mega Maid, you see it standing on top of planet Druidia, and I'm trying to do my best working out. I don't know exactly how big planet Druidia is. I'm basing that on Earth. It might be a bit bigger, it might be a bit smaller. But based on that, I'm putting Mega Maid at around 1,000 kilometers.
it's got to be something like that, isn't it? Because
I think we can only say it's 15, which we've put down as over 100 kilometers because this thing is just redonkulously big.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, because the thing is, it's the atmosphere. An atmosphere off of Earth is only what 20 kilometers.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's actually standing on top of that, and that's. I mean, if you timed it up by like 4, that would be up to like Mega Maid's ankle.
Yeah.
So it's a 15.
It's a boom.
Just no. No need for this. But yeah, okay, no, go on.
I could be doing a bird of prey right now, you know, a nice little Klingon bird of prey, but no, wasn't allowed to. So, sublight, it's a brick.
Yep.
It's a flying brick.
Yep.
No leg to stand on there. Mm-hmm. Now FTL.
Oh God.
Where do we put ludicrous speed?
In the bin.
I think.
We've got to say that Eagle 5 has secret hyperjets, which I believe are going to be the equivalent of the Star Wars hyperspeed. You know, it does the same sort of hyperactive stuff and goes off. This then goes two more than that. Whatever you want to call two more than that at it.
Well,
it does it.
Well, you say that, but I'm gonna be the stickler today on this one. Firstly, we always say that if we can't work out how fast it's going, then it gets a 1.
We do.
However, what I was going to say is the actual whole thing of leaving a plaid trail behind is basically a rip-off of Warp Drive. So
a rip-off of Warp Drive and the Stargate sequence from 2001.
Exactly. So we're talking, strictly speaking, by terms of our own scoring. If you count the Stargate sequence, it's jump gates. And if you count it taking the piss out of Star Trek, it's 2 for Warp. You can't do any bigger than that.
Care, so whatever one you guys want to give it.
Well, I think we don't know because ridiculous speed tells you nothing. So we go.
Well, ridiculous and ludicrous. I don't think you can do that because we see Eagle 5 is doing
light
an
speed.
FTL,
Yeah,
and then this is going
faster than that.
Much faster than that.
Well, so fast it actually creates inertia in space and makes someone hang onto a railing.
Don't remind me.
Let's go with a 3.
Yeah.
Because FTL is 1, and this goes too faster than that. That's the logic we're using.
I'm
here.
down with that. That's good. Yeah.
All right. Maneuverability, it's a brick.
It's
Hey!
zero.
Don't give a fuck.
It's a 0. It's a 0.
Now we're at firepower.
Firepower. Now that's an interesting one.
It possesses the ability to strip a planet of its breathable atmosphere.
That is planet destroying.
That's planet destroying. It's not one shot destroying the planet, but it is destroying the planet. It's a 13.
Yeah.
It's got to be a 13.
Oh my god. Right. Okay. For those of you who don't know how the scores are running on a
And we don't know either at this point.
Yeah. I mean, Death Star is 14 because it's
a Death Star which can one shot destroy a planet.
Yeah, is 14. One shot a capital ship is 10.
Mm-hmm.
And anything in between is open for debate. Now, I think we got an 11, didn't we, on one of them?
Which
I think was the Shadow Battle Crab,
which could destroy one-shot capital ships or destroy jump gates and blow up loads of other little ships.
And of course, the Icarus 2 got a 15 for its
because it could destroy a bloody star.
Yeah, which is kind of fairly hefty.
So this is somewhere in between the Icarus 2 and a Shadow ship. Oh,
well, like with 12 or 13.
I would say
we gave a Vengeful Spirit 13 because it could glass a planet on its own and it could launch plague bombs to wipe out all life on that planet.
Yeah, whereas,
so I think a 12 because I don't think it's as powerful as that.
No, it's not. And the other thing is, all it's doing is it's stripping the atmosphere. It's not destroying the planet or ruining it for anything else. If there's bacteria and stuff on there, it's still going to come back.
Well, that's a reassuring thought. If you're bacteria, safe.
Yeah, but you don't get that kind of reassurance.
No, most of the members of the Conservative Party are fine.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get that reassurance with the Gloriana rocking up.
No, you don't. The Vengeful Spirit shows up, you've ruined your day.
Yeah, exactly.
And your trousers.
Yeah, and your back garden.
Yes.
Right. So, what
12
about
then for
12?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my giddy aunt! I'm looking at the scores.
I don't think there's any active defense that we see, any demonstration of or anything like that.
Thank fuck.
Give it 0 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I think we've probably got to assume heavy armor, if nothing else. Just from what we see.
Yep, for passive defense, heavy armor because it doesn't have shields because Spaceball 1 actually flies into Mega Maid without being stopped by anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, heavy armor is probably about as far as you can go. I'll give that
now
too.
for special, and I'm loath to do this.
Yes.
But it does have one unique ability.
Mega Maid.
Well, it has 2 unique abilities. But I don't think special really. Well, yeah, I suppose special is, but it has 2 unique abilities. Then there's Mega Maid. And then there's Mr. Rental. The reason I mentioned Mr. Rental is it has a copy of the film before the film is finished. So in theory, the crew could watch ahead, see what's going to happen, and avoid it happening.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh.
Sorry, it's purely established there in the film. They get lost, don't know what to do. So they stick the tape in, they know where to go. So by that logic, they can say, oh, look, we're going to get ambushed here. So how about we don't show up there? We go over there. I think that's worth at least 1.
Fucking hellfire. Okay.
I'm going to give you that point just for cheek.
Yeah.
Barefaced cheek.
So you got 2 points for special. Oh
Yeah.
my giddy aunt.
It's very special.
I am.
Okay, so for crew, it's big enough to warrant a shopping mall, a zoo, and a free-ring circus complete with freak show.
They aren't crew though. They're just there. Please.
Well, those are there for the crew. They're there for the crew to be entertained.
I mean, you know what? This episode trying to work this shit out is actually funnier than the whole film.
Yes, it is. It is by miles.
I think at the minimum we've got to peg it with what the Executor was coming in at, which I think was,
Hold on.
was like, well, the Executor's 17 kilometers long.
Yeah, it had
and
a score of
we gave that
10.
a crew of about 5,000, didn't we?
So that was a score of 10.
Was it a score of 10?
Yep, I'm looking at it now.
20,000 plus? Oh, well then, I think we've got to give it the same.
Oh, for goodness fucking sake.
And to be fair, that's clearly what they were taking the piss out of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay. I can't believe this.
No.
That's a 1. I'm not even going to argue that point.
Competence isn't a 1. That's
You
a
wanna go
0.
for 0? Fine, we'll go 0.
They are totally 0.
We can do, but the damage is already done.
Excuse me, but by their own definition, every member of the crew is an arsehole.
It is true. They are surrounded by arseholes. And
I mean,
the code for the luggage is 1, 2, 3, 4.
And the most appealing member of the crew is the guy who made the strange noises out of Police Academy. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's wrong,
Oh, and
Colonel
of course,
Sanders?
Gretchen, the dental assistant.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And of course Tuvok as well, rather bizarrely.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's part of the ground troops.
Yeah.
Yes.
We ain't found shit.
We're combing the desert. Oh, God.
Well, but yeah. Competence at 0. Nil point.
Nil point. Okay, here we go. Exterior?
Exterior realization. I can't in good conscience give it a 1 because, as I mentioned, this was built by I&M guys, effectively. The model itself is a well-made model. It makes 0 sense whatsoever.
It looks
It is
fug
ridiculous.
ugly, though.
It looks fug ugly, but it's a well fug ugly ship. So I'm looking for a 2 or a 3.
I'll manage to.
Yeah, I've got. Oh my God. I mean, I'll go with 2. I really am. I would like to give it a 3, but it just looks like the back end of it looks like someone just got a model of the Discovery and just chopped it up. And,
To be fair, though, that's probably what they were going for.
and
I
they-
mean, let's face it, when the guy who makes the Lego version produces something that looks better than the actual ship does.
yeah, exactly.
And yes,
So,
folks, there is a
okay.
Lego version of this ship out there.
There is. Although, as Peter has recently pointed out, it does look awfully familiar, similar to the ships from Starship Troopers.
Yeah, let's not dwell on that.
Yeah,
Let's not.
it just makes me
Interior
sad.
realization. I don't know. 2. Whatever.
Well, it's a film set, so
It's a film set, so yeah, I'll go for 2.
Okay, so we got 2 for exterior, 2 for interior. That's fine.
Science is 1. Motherfucking 1.
Yep, science is 1. Okay, cool factor.
This is your chance to give this a kicking now.
Yeah,
I will give this the minimum I'm allowed to give.
yeah.
1
Yeah.
point.
1 point.
Uno point.
Uno point.
That's fine because that's exactly what I'm going to give it as well.
And guess what?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Wow.
All the way.
The lowest cool score so far, which is kind of a relief because I'm
That
looking.
is, I'm legitimately relieved. I was worried that was going to do a lot better than it did.
Well, actually, it has done a lot better than it should have done, to be
Oh,
honest.
it's done a lot better than it should have done, but I was worried this was going to end up sitting on the top of the fucking thing.
Yeah. It's kind of sad actually because it's actually
Just made the top 10, sadly.
yeah.
It knocked my Icarus 2 off.
Well, it hasn't actually. It's underneath the Icarus 2 because it's on the
Oh,
same
okay,
score.
No, I've got it as 54, which is above the Icarus
It's
2.
53.
53. And yes, double checking our terrible maths, we worked out, yes, it is 54, not 53. which puts it in at the bottom of our top 10. That's just wrong.
Still made it far above some ships. And the Milano, it's made it so far above the Milano.
It's ahead of the White Star, the Red Dwarf. It's
Slave One.
Slave One.
Just
And the X-Bomber. There's no justice.
no, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not all bad, is what we're saying. Yeah.
Let's not get totally carried away. Yeah.
Arse.
Oh God, Spaceball 1, sitting there like a big soiled blister. Right, okay. So there you go. That's Space Doc Jury for this week. Yeah, just to recap the top 10.
I don't think we need to recap the top 10. Let's not dwell on it.
We've done fucked up again, guys.
You want to see the top 10, folks? Go to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/Space Doc Jury.
Groups/Space Doc Jury. But
Too.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be posted there.
/ Abandoned Hope, or you enter here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dearie me. Right.
How are we going to make amends for this next time then, guys?
We'll pause and decide.
Okay. Paused. So yes, we've paused, we've decided, and we are going to try and make amends for the utter debacle of getting Spaceball 1 even on the bloody top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. By having a totally different type of episode. So
some completely different kind of puppets.
Yes,
Muppets.
yeah, completely bunch of Muppets. So in a fortnight's time, we will return with a Super Marionation, Jerry Anderson-y kind of thing. And I will be bringing Fireball XL5.
Which I will say is bloody cool design of a ship.
Yes.
Do like Fireball XL5.
Big old knob. Anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, that's enough of Lee. Anyway.
Thank you.
I shall be bringing the Zero X from both Thunderbirds Argo the movie and Captain Scarlet Tender.
Dum 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 dum.
Oh, theme tune-orama. Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
And slightly controversially, I shall be bringing Thunderbirds 2086.
Hey!
Fantastic.
Aboo! Aboo! God almighty.
Why do you do this? This is a safe space, Peter. We want you to do well.
No.
Nostalgia, purely nostalgia, believe me.
Let's take young Pete and kick him to the curb again.
He's kind of done that himself. I mean, have you seen the ships in that?
You know what? To my eternal shame and damnation, yes, I have. And
seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Thunderbird 2 was a square pillar box. Thunderbird 1. Thunderbird 1 looked like Tomy's My First Spaceship.
Powder dry.
Oh, anger rising, rage blurring, vision.
You know what's going to be nice for a change, though? But for once, Lee's eye is going to be directed towards Peter and not me.
Yeah, the eye of Sauron turns to the north. Okay, so there you go. So it's Thunderbirds 2086, Fireball XL5, and Zero X, which will be featuring...
quite possibly the most ineffective method for launching and recovering a spaceship ever. But
well, just stick it on some roller skates, fire it down a runway, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if I can claim Captain Black for the crew.
No. Unless you count him trying to kill everyone with it.
Indestructible. That's got to count.
Yeah,
somewhere.
okay.
Anyway, Powder Dry.
Powder Dry. So join us for that. But in the meantime, do listen out for minisodes, which will be doing the rounds either side of this one.
And on occasion, not so minisodes.
Not so minisodes. And, of course, do join us on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/SpaceDocJury, and our Twitter account, which is @SpaceDocJury.
And if you are so inclined to pop by iTunes, give us a little rating and a review. We do enjoy reading them.
Yes, always good. Nothing wrong with giving us a damn good review. Give us a damn good reviewing.
Yes, and do keep your eye on the Facebook group, because there might be a special announcement very soon. Strokey chin.
Yeah, say nothing, keep powder dry. Anyway, so until next time, when we will be back with strings. By the way, I think Got No Strings Pinocchio theme tune should be our intro next time.
I think that could be arranged. Or if not the full intro, certainly when Pete's talking about the Thunderbirds 2086.
Fairly apt, yeah.
I'm just looking at a picture of it now. Oh, my eyes. They burns. The fucking Thunderbird 3 is a camper van that sits on either side of Thunderbird 2.
Powder dry.
Fucking Volkswagen, useless piece of yellow shit. What a fucking... Anyway, do join us again. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Tatty bye.
Cheerio bye.
Fucking Thunderbird 2086 piece of shit.
Thunderbirds 2086. The Thunderbirds, 5 of the finest cadets in the world, dedicated to the service of mankind wherever he may be in distress. Combined with a dazzling array of vehicles and equipment designed to specifications in the space-age technology of the 21st century. A special rescue squad ready to answer a last-chance distress call. A call that could arrive at any time from any disaster scene on or off this planet. These are the Thunderbirds 2086.
Space Doc Jury is a production of 3 Angry Beards for GeekPlanetOnline.com.